Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of Northwest Craftsman. So I basically just threw all of my tools into my shop and it just turned into an absolute mess. And so I really need to go through and be a little bit more organized about where my tools are, how I do my dust collection, how I do my electrical. And so today I'm going to show you guys what I have and what I'm going to. All right, let's take a quick dirty shop tour. All right, so walking into the shop first, you've got my table saw, my defunct lathe, a chair, the back of a whiteboard, the lawnmower, which has to stay here, air compressor, bandsaw, jointer, kind of, my planer, my desk, my miter saw, which always has to live on the end of my workbench right here because there's just no other surface to put it on. My dust collection as it sits here, which is basically just my shop vac and my dust deputy, which, to be fair, works pretty well for everything that I need to do right now. But what it means, and here's a little kind of glimpse into this, I've got this one power cord that can reach any of these tools in the middle, and so I am constantly unplugging here, putting it into here. Oh, I need a plane. Okay, take the dust collection out of here, stick it into here. Oh, take the shop vac out. Oh, now I need to plug this in. Dust collection needs to go over there. It's honestly a giant pain to use and it's totally functional, but I wanted to go through and think it out a little bit more. So I'm gonna time lapse you guys through this organization process so that you guys can see what it looks like. And I'm gonna have a couple of other videos to go deeper into the more specific aspects of it. But I wanted to show you guys what it looks like when all of this comes to fruition. And then I'm gonna do a shop tour of what it looks like when I'm done and kind of walk you through the decisions on why I organized my shop the way it is. And then I'm not gonna be able to tell you how well it works because it's gonna take a long time to get there, but I'll at least explain the logic and reasoning as to why I made the decisions I did so that hopefully you guys, when you're first moving into a shop or when you're reorganizing your shop, get a couple of good ideas for, or hopefully good ideas for how you might wanna set up yours. All right, sit back, relax, and enjoy the organization. guys, thank you guys for sticking around with me. I really appreciate it. So I wanted to go over some of the major improvements that I had in moving around and reorganizing my shop and kind of explain why I went through and did this so that if you're looking to do anything on your own, you kind of understand the why and see if you need to integrate or would like to integrate any of these improvements to your shop. Alrighty, so the first major improvement was adding 2 sets of power drops here. So I've got one outlet over here and then another one over here. Now you'll see I had to rewire the entire shop or rewire the whole upper portion of it. Not because the old wire was bad. I mean, it was old, but it wasn't bad. But I just didn't have enough slack. And so what I did is when I wired this whole thing, I left a little bit more slack in each one of the rafters so that if I needed to do anything, I had just a little bit more that I could work with there. But adding the power drop in the ceiling right here allowed me to utilize the circuit that the lights were on, because there was one circuit for the lights, one circuit for the wall right here. And the problem is all of my tools were running off the wall. And because they were so spread out, one here and then one behind the mini fridge all the way back here, I had to run an extension cord for anything that I wanted to put in the middle. And so adding these 2 to the top and then adding these 4-way splitters here were really great. Now, one of the downsides is that these 4-way splitters at a normal price, they're only good for about 15 amps. And so you can only run one tool, and most of these tools are sub 15 amps, or most of the tools that I would be running off of them are sub 15 amps, so I'm fine. But if I was gonna try and run 3 of these at the same time, which would be hard as a one-man shop, but I guess technically it's possible, that would probably overload the box here. And so you need to be careful of that. So even though the entire shop is wired for 20 amps, these guys are my limiting factor at 15 amps here. So you need to be really careful with that. I think they do have a built-in breaker to them, but just be careful. Also, when you're doing these outlets in the ceiling or these boxes in the ceiling, these regular ones aren't the locking ones. You can get locking outlets. I chose not to. And then I've just got my own built-in strain relief here, which is basically just, I don't even know what it's called, but just some nylon cord. And then I just basically knotted it up over the top of this so that it cinches down on the wire. And you basically just want to make sure that when you've got cords hanging from it, it's not going to pull on the outlet itself. So you can see right here, I hit the cord before I actually hit the outlet. And I did that on both of them. But the other benefit that this provides is that for all of my tools that are here in the center, they can stay plugged in all the time. So before, where I would have to move my extension cord all the way around to here to there, all the way around, everything's plugged in now. So I basically can walk up to the tool and just use it, and it's just ready to go. So first major upgrade is getting power split between 2 different circuits and making sure that when I'm using them, I can use stuff on this circuit and this circuit without blowing a breaker, but also I just have access to power all the way around my shop. Alrighty, so number 2, and this is really obvious and you saw it in one of the other videos, but I have new dust collection everywhere. So I went through and I ran some PVC dust collection. I go through all of the details in my other video on why I chose to do the dust collection the way that I did, but having 4-inch dust collection routed to every single tool in the shop so that it is also just ready to go has made such a huge difference just on the small intermediate projects that I've done while I've been setting this up. So I'm super excited to have this dust collection all the way through. It's up, it's out of the way. I mean, it's a little bit obtrusive to have this large cluster coming down like right as you're walking in, but it allowed me to center my tool cluster right here and get dust collection to everything and then some. So like my table saw, I've got some here for the bottom, which gets everything or most of everything that's in the cabinet. But then I've also got one that I still need to fill in here, which is going to be for a hood that's going to drop down over the top. So really excited about this dust collection, and just in the initial stages of me testing it out, it sucks so much more than my last one in a good way. Like I have barely any chips around my planer, where before they used to just kind of pile up because I was just relying on the blower that's inside of the planer itself to get everything extracted. But now I've got enough for my dust extractor to actually pull everything out, and it's just fantastic. So major upgrade number 2, real dust collection and in-place dust collection rather than just my dust deputy and my shop vac. Which, to be fair to the dust deputy and the shop vac, they do a phenomenal job for what they're there for. And the other piece that I probably did not that I took for granted was because I've got the dust deputy followed by a shop vac bag followed by a shop vac filter, the dust that was coming out of this system was very, very low compared to what I'm getting out of this. This actually spits more dust out than just the combination of these two together. So I will need to upgrade that at some point, but if you're starting your shop, and this is what I've had for the last 2 years, highly, highly, highly recommend this setup. It is really awesome, and it's perfect for when you're getting started. I just have this because I now have a shop where I can get more set up and I can actually put all of this installed, because there's just a decent amount of capital and investment that goes into this. But if you're interested in why I did what I did with the dust collection, go ahead and check out that other video. I'll go ahead and post it right somewhere. I always lose track of where exactly they pop up, but I'll post it up here at the top so that you can see where exactly and why exactly I did the dust collection the way that I did. Alrighty, and the number 3 upgrade is actually making this tool cluster right here. Prior to this, I just had my planer and my table saw sitting right here, and then this miter saw was over here on my workbench, and this bandsaw was just sitting up against the wall over there. Now, having a tool cluster is really nice because I can fit all of my boards in any which direction I'm trying to cut them. I'll be using my bandsaw probably less than the rest of these at this initial point just because of its limitations, but I have access to work with everything that I need to, and what this allowed me to do is run power into the middle of this tool cluster, have all of them plugged in at the same time, all of them ready to use, and dust collection with how it's set up, I can easily just flip on what I need to and start using the tool that I have. Now, the only other upgrades that I still need to do is on my miter saw, I need to build a box around it so that, or kind of a shroud around it, so that anything that's coming off the sides and is not going directly into the chute gets caught as well, because right now this does catch a massive amount of the chips, but there's still a lot of chips that come off on the side. So I want to build something that I've seen from a lot of people online, where basically you build a shroud and it creates a lot of suction coming through it, and so all of those or most of those get trapped by the dust collector and then they get whisked away into the system. But the tool cluster, really excited about. I just whipped this together real fast. I didn't put it on video, but basically it's just 2x4s, 2x4 top, 2x4 legs, 2x4 stabilizers and support, and they're just pocket screws all the way around. So super easy, super fast. Yeah, as what I say, it's everything that I need right now. I could have gone with a fancier thing that had cabinets and stuff, but I just needed something to set this on. So I'm really excited about having this tool cluster together. Okay, and maybe this is just the geek and the engineer in me, but I got to actually hang my whiteboard up. You can see it in all my previous videos as just this like silver-backed thing leaning up against the wall, and I really wanted to have this up. I have no idea how much I'm going to use it, but it just makes me want to make stuff and want me to brainstorm and get new ideas together. So my whiteboard is hung. I'm super excited. I will need to clear stuff out from the bottom right here. The chair will probably stay over here so I can kind of sit and think at the same time, but the air compressor will move down here. The fridge will move a little bit closer down towards the joiner itself. And then eventually I need to put a desk in here, but that's going to come after the holidays because we're using it right now in the house. But the whiteboard, I am just thrilled to have out here. Now I just need to get some whiteboard markers and I can just start brainstorming all these ideas. Okay, and last but not least, I was able to get my router table up off the floor. I unmounted the defunct lathe that I had here that I'm not using at all, and I actually put that on the floor over here until I figure out what I want to do with it. But I put the router table up here, and this is actually just about at the right height, which is perfect. Eventually, I'll build something that's a little bit more productized for it, but this works perfectly for now, and I use this far more than I ever did the lathe. So having this up and off the floor and basically ready for use is going to be fantastic, and it's already hooked up into the dust collection, and it's ready to go. So got this guy up off the floor, and so basically now all of my tools that I'm going to be using at any one time are basically up and ready for use, which means that I'm ready to go and I can work more efficiently. And just in the couple of days that I've had this together, the couple of projects that I've been working on, I'm able to go from one thing to another thing to another thing without skipping a beat, because I don't need to keep plugging things in and unplugging things and dust collection over here and take the router table up off the floor and then get everything integrated into it. It's just there and it's plugged in and it's ready to go. And this has made a huge difference in the quality of life in my shop. Alrighty, so even though the shop is never really done being adjusted or upgraded or moved around or optimized, this was a massive improvement for me, and I can already see the efficiency gains, and I can already see just the ease of use and quality of life in the shop going up because of the changes that I've made here. I'm going to continue making upgrades to the shop, and I'll keep you guys posted as I go and kind of explain why I'm doing the different things that I am, because if you have a space that you can upgrade, you can integrate some of these things into yours or take bits and pieces of what I've done. And this is how I got most of my ideas. Like, it was J. Katz Moses that showed me he had a tool cluster, and I know that it's a common thing. as a new woodworker, did not know about it. And so that's one of those things that when you see people doing things and you get to see other woodworkers and the way that they do it, you can take bits and pieces of what you have and put it together. And also, by no means is this setup perfect for a commercial shop. There's a lot of inefficiencies, and I'm not a Six Sigma black belt for efficiency or a lean manufacturing expert. By no means am I trying to do that with my shop, but what I get out of this is just a little bit better quality of life, and it's just a lot nicer. So if you have any questions about what I did with my shop, I would love to hear from you. Go ahead and leave something in the comment section down below. And if you like what we're doing here at Northwest Craftsman, we'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, because mostly I like to be involved with you guys. So sorry, it's really windy right now, so you can hear the wind outside. But I really like being involved with you guys. I love your questions. I love it when you're involved with just everything that's going on. And I've been having a really great time just chatting with you guys. So being subscribed to the channel and hitting that bell icon means you'll get notified when we have new stuff coming out. So thank you guys for being around. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one. Happy woodworking.